to year 10 and 11. I know that for the students that are watching this evening, we've already had an assembly, so lots of this information you may be aware of already. You've also had option booklets, which has covered lots of questions. So fingers crossed, I should cover lots of things that you need to know already. So if we have a look, Key Stage 4, how does that look? Year 10 and 11. When students are in year 10 and 11, there will be certain subjects that they carry on studying. Okay, so maths is one of them. You do GCSE maths, you'll do that in year 11. Science, a double award at least. You do have the option to do triple, which I'll talk about a bit later. You'll do games, PE, in your timetable. You will do a double GCSE in English Lit and English Language. Students also study RE. You study RE in year 10 and do the GCSE at the end of year 10. And you do citizenship at the end of year 11. Both of those exams are done in a reduced timetable capacity, so we can up the amount of GCSEs that you get when you finish in year 11. Also, we have PSHE. When we're looking at the option subjects, you have the chance to choose 3 optional subjects. So one of the questions that we get asked quite a lot is, are there any restrictions on what students can choose? We advise you more than restrict you. What you will have seen on your original options form would be that we ask you to pick a starred subject. So we do ask you to pick either a humanities subject or a language or computer science. This is because we try and make sure that you have a really broad curriculum and you keep your choices open for when you go on to post 16. We are also really aware that actually some students will have very, very specific careers in mind, and we will do everything in our power to make sure that we can give you those range of options if possible. Miss Thomas, who is our careers advisor at school, will be able to help you with those decisions if you need some help. So one question I get asked a lot is about the EBAC. The EBAC is a measure that looks at schools' performance. So the government does ask that all students study both a foreign language and either history or geography to GCSE level, and our school's performance is judged on that. Now, some schools across Bristol do put one of those in the option blocks for you, so they only give you 2 options, and the third one will have to be a language. We don't ask you to do that, but we do ask you to choose one of the 3, so either a foreign language, history or geography. There is another starred subject, which is computer science, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Okay, hopefully you have seen this already. This is in the options booklet that students either took home or got sent home. If for some reason you do not have this option booklet, I will show you where you can find it on the school website a bit later. This gives you an idea of how the options is going to work between now and when students start their actual subjects in year 10. So we can see that we are here Thursday the 12th of November, the virtual options evening. What you have done already is you have filled in a form that has given us an idea of what options people want across the year group. This is really, really useful to us because it gives us an idea of what subjects are really popular, which subjects may not have a big uptake at this point. The next step is twofold. Firstly, we will be working to create the new and final options form for you. When you get the options form, there will be 3 columns, okay, 3 columns, and we ask you to choose a first and second choice in each of those columns. This will be your final choice. These will be your final choices, and we give you up until the end of December. So during academic review days, you can hand them in before then, but we give you up until the end of December to hand those in. We are still currently putting those forms together. They will be with you in the next couple of weeks because it involves lots of timetabling, etc. So once you've got those forms, we will ask you to put your final option choices together, but hopefully tonight and the other things that we've got coming up will help you make those decisions. Normally what we would do is we would have big option taster days where you could possibly go and try some other subjects. We still have them open, but obviously they're a bit reduced because of COVID restrictions in school at the moment. Most subjects will be doing them in class as normal, so you will have a taster of what a Key Stage 4 lesson might look like. So when you go to history, for example, they will give you a taster of what a Key Stage 4 lesson will look like to give you an idea of whether you want to do history at GCSE or not. Some that you don't do at Key Stage 3 already, we will organise for you to do some of those sessions. So for example, if you're really interested in health and social care, we will attempt to give you an option taster session to see if it's something that you're really interested in. Like I said, the 17th and 18th of December is when we ask your final forms in. And then really between January, February, March, we start processing those choices. And then at the beginning of April, that's when you will get your confirmation letter of what your choices will be. Okay, so you should recognise this form. This is the one that you filled in already. I just sort of wanted to talk about it briefly, just for a bit of clarity. So obviously here, these are the starred subjects that we talked about. We will still ask you to take a starred subject when you fill in your final option form. And these are the other options that we've got available. And obviously there's much more information about them in the options booklet. What you'll see is the bottom of this form is some information about doing additional maths and triple science. For clarity, I think it's really worth pointing out that additional maths is not help with maths. Additional maths is further maths, so it's extra maths to what you'd be doing already. It's not helping with the maths that you're doing already. If you're interested in doing additional maths, you will tick this. There will also be a box in your next booklet. If you tick it, and then it will be by invite only. So the head of maths will have a look at your grades and then have a conversation with you and decide along with you whether it's something that you definitely want to do. The same goes for triple science. So triple science is a fourth option essentially, but they run after school. And again, this is about you having a conversation with your science teacher to ensure that that's something that you definitely want to do. Okay, so just to reiterate, the first form, and I can't reiterate this enough, the first form was to gauge interest in the subjects, okay? And from that information, we construct the 3 option blocks. So at the moment, we've got almost all of the forms in, and it allows us to see where there is real need across the school. Some subjects will always be more popular than others, but it helps us plan in regards to the timetable. So as I said already, you can choose 3 subjects from a wide range of subjects. There are some restrictions. So firstly, you must choose one of the EBAC subjects, so that's starred on the form. There are vocational subjects. So vocational subjects mean that you learn a subject in a more practical way. You can only choose 2 vocational subjects. Now, the next point is probably one of the most important things I'm going to say tonight, which is about you must pick a first and a second choice. This is really, really important. We try everything possible to give students their first choices where we can, but not everybody will get all three of their first choices. Last year, out of 220 students, 195 got all three of their first choices. But sometimes people get some second choices. Okay. Now, what will happen is we can have a conversation about that, but it's quite complicated because we will try and arrange the timetable in a way that creates the most happiness for the most number of people. However, it's really, really difficult to allocate first choices to everyone, and there's lots of reasons why. It could be teacher restrictions, it could be equipment restrictions, it could be class sizes. There's a lot going on, so it's so vital that you pick a first and a second choice and be prepared to take your second choice in some cases. And also, like I said on the previous slide, make sure that you are ticking the boxes if you would like to do additional maths or triple science. So I think it's really important for you to know how we decide whether you get your choices. I think the first thing to say, it's not first come, first served. What won't happen is if you bring in your forms really quickly, it doesn't mean that you'll get your first choices. We input them all at the same time. Courses only run if they attract a certain amount of students. Say, for example, only 2 people chose one subject, we wouldn't be able to run it, because having a class size of 2, we just can't have it in school. So it's really, really vital that we have a certain number of students for each courses. Now, what might happen is when you get the final option choice form, there might be some subjects missing, and that is because nobody has shown an interest in it. Okay. So it's really, really vital that that you understand that. Like I said before, we tried to give everybody their first choices. We may not be able to give everybody all 3 of their first choices. There's also a maximum class size as well. So whilst we've got a minimum class size for certain subjects, there is a maximum class size. This could be on a whole variety of things. So, for example, engineering will use lots of equipment. There's only so many people that can be in the class at the same time. So practical subjects and classroom-based subjects might be slightly more students. We will also monitor whether the choices are suitable and advise you. That will be a conversation with your tutor. You can also have that conversation with your with the careers advisor, Ms. Thomas, with your head of year, Ms. Carr, or you can have it with me. But we will try and advise you if you are struggling as well. And it's also worth saying that we will try and make sure that you have a broad and balanced curriculum. So things to think about when you're making your choices is think about what is on the syllabus. So what do you actually study? What does it look like? What kind of things do you cover in the lessons? Is it something that you're interested in? How are you going to study it? So is there a coursework element? Is there a practical element? Is it all exams? How are you going to be tested? What is the final qualification? What does it look like? And then what do you do next? What can you do with this qualification? You know, are you thinking about doing it at A level? Are you thinking about doing it at university? Those are all really big questions to think about at this point in year 9. Okay. So I know that I spoke to lots of you about this in assemblies, but I think it's really important to talk about it again. The good and bad reasons for choosing a course. Okay, so some really good reasons to pick the course is that you're good at it and that you enjoy it. Those are 2 really great reasons to choose a course. You could also think about how it goes well with other choices. You know, for example, you might want to break it up. You might not want to do 3 very heavily written courses, or you know, you might be very excited about having 3 heavily written courses. You might want to mix it up and have a practical course, but think about how they might work with each other. You might be interested in the skills and knowledge that you develop from it, whether it gives you lots of choice in the future, and again, whether you want to continue it after studying in year 11. I think really think long and hard about perhaps reasons why you shouldn't pick a subject. From somebody that's worked on options for several years now, quite often I will have conversations further down the line where people admit to me that perhaps they've just chosen an options choice because their friends were doing it, and actually they've decided they don't want to do it. So please think about what you want to do, not what your friends are doing. Don't think that any of the courses are really a lot easier than others. You know, some people might say it's easy, but because that might be their particular skill set. Okay, so don't pick a option on that reason alone. Whether you think it's a good course for a boy or a girl, okay, have a look at it. You know, really investigate the courses. Okay. I mean, the next one, someone else thinks it's a good idea. I think absolutely get advice of your family and your teachers at school, but don't do it just because you feel like somebody's pressuring you to do it. Don't choose. Sorry about the bell. Okay, sorry about that. Don't pick a course because of a teacher you've got now. We can't guarantee that you're going to have the same teacher next year. And also really take time to research your options properly. So who can help you? Well, friends and family can help you. Subject teachers can help you. Careers advice, so we've got Miss Thomas that I keep on mentioning, and you'll have careers advice during your PSHE lessons at school, and your tutors can help you as well, obviously. Now this PowerPoint is going to go up on the website. It's not up on the website at the moment, but obviously there's 3 email addresses there of people that you can get in contact with. So that's me, Claire Greenwood. You can talk to me about any options. Amy Carr, Year 9 Achievement Coordinator, and Kelly Thomas, who works with careers. And I just want to talk to you about what you can do next. So obviously you have got the booklet that you've been given. But if you don't have it, I want to show you exactly where you can find it. So this is the Fairfield website, and what you can do is click onto the student section and go onto options, okay? Or what you can see at the moment is there is a rotation, and on this part there is a link to options. If you go onto that section, what you are going to see there are videos from all of the options teachers that are going to, there's a range of presentations that will talk you through each of the subjects. Okay, so if we weren't in COVID times, what would have happened tonight is you would have come into school and you would have seen presentations from each of the teachers in different classrooms around the school. Because we can't do that at the moment, what we have done is we put them online. So if you go to either student and then options, or if you just look for the rotation on the main page of Fairfield High School, when you click onto that, what you will see is a whole range of videos that you can click onto. So you can find out about classics, you can find out about engineering design and manufacturing, etc., etc. You can have a look at those videos, and then there'll be contact details next to those videos. So if you've got a specific question about that subject, you can just email that person and they should be able to help. Okay, so that's the end of the presentation.